I thought we had a good marriage. We weren't rich, but we had love, right? That's what mattered, or so I believed. Until one day, she walked out, bags packed, heart gone. I deserve more, she said, leaving me for a man with money. That hurt. But what she didn't know was that karma was already watching, and it had other plans for her. Subscribe for more real-life karma stories where the past never stays buried. My name is James Bennett. I grew up in a small Midwestern town where everyone knew your name, your parents, and the rusted pickup truck you drove to high school. My dad was a mechanic, my mom a school teacher. We didn't have much, but we had enough to teach me that hard work beats shortcuts and love beats luxury any day. Sophia and I met when we were 16. She was a new girl in town, all wild curls and sharp wit, sitting alone at the back of Mrs. Thompson's English class. I spilled my lunch tray on her shoes, trying to impress her. Instead of yelling, she laughed and said, "Smooth move, hero." That was it. We were inseparable. We married young at 24 in the same church where my grandparents said their vows. Sophia wore her mother's lace dress, and I borrowed my dad's old suit. Our reception was in her aunt's backyard. Barbecue, a dollar store disco ball, and a playlist of Motown classics. We danced until our shoes fell apart, and when she kissed me under the string lights, I swore I'd spend my life making her happy. For the first few years, we were happy in our little apartment above the town's hardware store. I started a tech repair business out of our garage, fixing phones and laptops for neighbors. Sophia worked at the local library, shelving books and daydreaming about travel blogs and Parisian cafes. But dreams cost money. I poured every dollar I earned back into the business. New tools, certifications, a website. Sophia hated it. "Why can't we live a little?" she'd say, flipping through catalogs of designer handbags. Jen from book club just got back from Bali. Bali, James. We haven't left this town in years. I'd promise her, next year, once the business stabilizes. Next year came. Then the next. The crack started with Nathan Hale. Nathan was a name everyone in town knew. A self-made millionaire, they called him, though rumors said he'd inherited most of his wealth. He owned half the real estate downtown. Flashy condos, a vineyard, a lakeside mansion with a yacht named Guilty Pleasure. Sophia met him at a charity auction she'd begged me to attend. I was knee-deep in a motherboard repair, so she went alone. When she came home, her cheeks were flushed, her eyes bright. "Nathan's donating $50,000 to the library," she said. "He's different. He started with nothing too, but he actually made it big." I should have seen it then. The way she said, "actually," like my late nights and burned fingers were a joke. Nathan began inviting her to events. Art gallery openings, wine tastings, weekends at his lake house. "It's networking," she'd insist, slipping into dresses I'd never seen before. "He's introducing me to investors for your business, James." But the investors never called. Instead, Sophia started coming home later, her laughter sharper, her perfume clinging to someone else's cologne. She'd talk about Nathan's vision, how he'd build an empire by taking risks, not playing it safe like me. One night, I found her cry in the bathroom, clutching a pregnancy test. "It's negative," she whispered. "Again." I held her, told her we had time, but she pulled away. Time for what? More ramen dinners? More this. She gestured at our peeling wallpaper. The end came on a Tuesday. I just landed my biggest client, a corporate contract that would finally turn the business profitable. I raced home, a bottle of cheap champagne in hand, ready to celebrate. But Sophia was in our bedroom, packing a suitcase. "What are you doing?" I asked, frozen in the doorway. She didn't look up. Nathan proposed. "He's taking me to Italy next week." The room spun. "You're leaving?" "I'm living, James. You wouldn't understand." She zipped the suitcase, leaving her wedding ring on the dresser. "He can give me the life I deserve." The door clicked shut. The champagne bottle slipped from my hand, shattering on the floor. For weeks, I was a ghost. My friends dragged me to bars, but I'd just stare at my phone, half hoping she'd text. Her social media told a different story. Yacht parties in Monaco, diamond necklaces, Nathan's arm around her waist like she was a trophy. But here's the thing about hitting rock bottom. You either break or build. I chose to build. I worked 18-hour days, fixing gadgets while eating gas station burritos at midnight. My big break came when a tech CEO's daughter dropped her laptop in a lake. I recovered her data and word spread. Contracts piled up. Within a year, I hired a team, moved into a real office, and bought a house with a porch swing alone. Meanwhile, Sophia's fairy tale began to rot. Nathan's luxury was a gilded cage. He monitored her spending, mocked her small-town roots, and flirted with waitresses at dinner. The trips? Tax write-off for his offshore shell companies. The diamonds? Loans from shady dealers. Then, the news broke. Nathan was under investigation for fraud. His assets froze. His Instagram perfect life collapsed into lawsuits and tabloid headlines. Sophia's last post was a blurry selfie in a taxi, captionless.
To be continued. How did James confront Sophia? What secrets did Nathan hide? And when karma finally struck, who paid the price? Subscribe now. Part 2 drops Saturday.